Alright, so let's start off with the chest. Basically, you want to start off with a harder exercise, as I mentioned before. This is a decline push-up, and it really engages your chest muscle. So you want to do this to full fatigue until you can't do a single one more. And then you're going to start, and then you're going to switch over to a regular old push-up. So blast it off with a decline, and then jump straight into the regular push-up. This is going to be focusing more on the middle part of the chest, and you'll really feel it, I guarantee it. And then after you've done as many of those regular old push-ups as you can, this is the push-up on the knees. Really blast out those push-ups on the knees until you reach full fatigue. You'll recruit every muscle fiber in your chest and tear those bad boys up. Alright, so how do you do that with the triceps? This is what I call a crossover tricep push-up. And it's a little bit more of a difficult move. You can see here that my hands are facing opposite directions. And you really engage that tricep muscle. And make sure, again, your back is flat. And then once you can't do any more of these, then you're going to transition into what I call the half plank tiger bend. So as your hands, you can see my hands are a little bit out here. And then what you're going to do is lower your body down. You're going to be using your triceps. And I pop my hands out a little bit further, and that makes it a little bit easier. Again, you're dropping down. You're doing harder exercises first, and then dropping down to the easier exercises. All right, and then you're going to finish up your triceps, the drop set, with a close grip push-up. Make sure your elbows are really tight, guys. It's really important. Alright, we're jumping into the shoulders. How do you do a drop set for the shoulders? Start off with a hard exercise like the handstand push-up as you see here. You really want to try to get full range of motion. You're going to be recruiting all your shoulder muscles. And you really want to crank them out as hard as you can. Really push it. And then after you can't do any more of those, jump straight into what I call an one-armed decline plank. You can see here what I'm doing, and my feet are up on a chair, and then I'm supporting my whole body with one arm. The shoulders will really be engaged, especially after doing the handstand push-up. Once you can't do any more of those, this is the good old frog push-up. You're still going to be engaging your shoulders, and you're recruiting those last muscle fibers. Now, if you just started with this exercise, it might be a little bit too easy, but since you did the harder exercises first, then you really blast that shoulder. All right, let's move on. So we're into the squats. This is a special one. You can see I've got a visitor, little smiley face, Emma. And it's essentially all you're doing is a squat. You don't need hold on to a little doll like I am. But you do as many squats as you can. You can do Hindu squats or just no weight squats. It's totally fine. Alright, what do you do after that? Jump straight into an isometric squat. Just hold it as long as you can. Then once you can't do any more of those, then move into a kneeling back bend. Make sure your whole upper body is rigid, like you can see here. The only pivot point is my knee. That's all that's moving. It's just my knee. You can really feel it in your quads. After you're done with the kneeling back bends, then the frog squat. Oh yeah, it'll be a burner, especially after you've done those other three. You're doing 3 full exercises, 4 actually, for the legs. But that drop set really tear it up. Alright, moving on. We're moving on to bis, the good old biceps. This is the chin up. Everyone knows the chin. It's a great way to get those biceps engaged. But once you can't do any more, well, how do you bring it to the next level? The hammer chin up. You can see my hands are in a neutral grip. If you don't have this P90X bar like I have, you can place your hands just on the bar facing opposite directions and do your chin-ups from there. It's called a lumberjack chin-up. Alright, once you can't do any more of those, so the supported chin-up, you can see how my feet are on a chair. And you guys are really going to get those muscle fibers fully engaged. Here, as you can see, the same thing. We're doing a pull-up. This is going to be engaging the back muscles. And you want to do those to full fatigue. I bet you guys haven't seen this one. Upside down pull-up. You're going to be, after you do the normal pull-up, jump straight into the upside down one. You really fatigue those back muscles, the lat, a ton. And how I usually finish off it is a stretch push-up. It'll engage those lats, those final muscle fibers that you normally can't get, or you fatigue too fast on the pull-up. Man, you'll hammer them out with the stretch push-up. All right, the V-up. Yes, you can do drop sets for abs. You can. The V-up. Here's the V-up. It's a harder ab exercise. You want to do them to full fatigue until you can't do a single more. And then you move on to leg up crunches. You put your feet up in the air and you do those leg up crunches until you can't do any more. That's the key. Drop set. That's the drop set, guys. Really important. And then finish up with those normal crunches until you can't do any more. And that's essentially it. You just start off with a harder exercise, move off to an easier one. Well, I'm glad you joined us for this Mad Monday workout or training program where you learned how to do a bodyweight drop set. And again, as I mentioned before, if you haven't downloaded my free bodyweight training program, you can do so here. So thank you so much.